Hi Gary,
Hi Leo.
how have markets been over the last week? They've looked to me a bit like a yo-yo.
They've been up and down significantly, so it's been a very, very volatile week. We haven't had a week like this since October 2008, so it's been quite difficult. You work in this industry a long time, you know they're going to come. It's nicer working in the more stable times when markets are going up, but you have to do your job when markets are going down as well. And they've had some bad hits last week, as everybody knows. And I think, though, that you keep your calm. As I said last Monday when we're having this chat, we've got quite a lot of cash. It doesn't mean we're 100% cash. We don't do that. You're trying to have the right allocation to equities and real assets depending on your client's risk profile.
Are there any bargains out there at the moment?
There's some really good bargains out there. The difficulty you have at times like this is that when you get very, very good bargains in financial markets, they feel awkward. It feels uncomfortable. And that's when you've really got to do your job.
Why uncomfortable? Why?
Because things sell off for a reason, and even if it's just panic on the part of investors in stock markets, but you get a sense of, generally when things are cheapest, it's when fear is at its peak. So when you're going against a wall of fear when you're buying in these markets, which is the right thing that a professional investor should do. So what we've started doing is sort of looking on a daily basis what looks cheap out there. So looking at stuff this morning, the one that we think looks particularly like a screaming buy at the moment is British Airways or IAG, because they're sitting on stacks of cash. So they can actually see this through. And I think, as they've said recently, they don't want the government to bail out the airline industry. And that's because, one, they don't need it, and two, if it gets bailed out, there are perhaps some other cheap bargains that will be around for them to buy and expand on won't be there.
Sure. Well, that's reassuring then, and you knowing where to look. Now, obviously, communications have been increasing. We've been increasing our communications to ensure that clients are informed about their investments. But also, as some clients may or may not be aware, we do have a regulatory requirement to communicate with clients should there be a 10% or more drop in their investments within a given statement period, beginning 5th of February currently. What are your views on that regulatory requirement? Do you think that might be causing panic for some clients unnecessarily, or what are your thoughts?
Well, in the previous bear markets that we've been through, that rule wasn't there. And on the whole, Courtiers clients held their nerve really well, came out the other side. And that was without a rule saying you've got to report a 10% decline in asset values. So I always felt, from our point of view, we didn't think it was particularly relevant. I've got a lot of sympathy with what the government is trying to achieve by having that rule in place. Because what it wants to make sure is that this information is passed on to investors where they've employed the services of a discretionary investment manager, so that they are told when things are not so good. Well, I think people that have been with us a long time know that we get the news out there, and of course what you've got is the online portals where people can pick their values up. So anyone going in last week, as a lot of people can see that their values are going down.
Sure.
But as we said, not by as much as the market, by a lot less than the market. So I think that it's a good rule because it forces a discipline on the whole industry. But I think we've been pretty good at getting that information out in past crises.
Sure.
And this time round, when we've had a nasty fall in markets, we're doing things like this. We're getting bulletins out there and we're keeping our investors up to date. And that's really what the government wants.
Absolutely. And we're seeing positive feedback. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all that you're sending back to us. We're not the only ones that are increasing communications. There's also the government. They're ramping it up this week. We've heard that they'll be giving daily briefings. Prospect of working from home. If that were to happen for coaches, could we do it?
Oh, we can do it. We've got a very, very good system. The servers and everything are held centrally. They're on duplicate sites. And we do regular work from home tests. This is something the investment team have to endure quite regularly, and aggravating as it is to do the types of tests sometimes, because personally I prefer to work from the office, then it's important so that when a real problem comes along like COVID-19, you've already put your systems under strain, knowing they will cope in this type of environment.
Well, hopefully we can continue these interviews on a regular basis. Should we need to, we may be able to tap into some FaceTime or other video conferencing system and see if we can do it remotely. But for now, Gary, I think that's a great update for where we are, and we'll continue and see how we go over the week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.